Hey everybody. Hi Steph. Hi Abby. Hi Samantha. How are y'all doing this evening? Everyone's starting to come in. Hi everybody. Hi Casey. Hi Samantha. Hi Amy. Hi Ariel. All right. Oh, another person's here. So, hi Annalisa. As you all are getting settled. Um,
I can't hear you quite well. It sounds like a little bit of a robot or something.
Can you hear me better? Thank you.
Yep.
So unfortunately, I think my AirPods might need some sort of recalibration of some kind because that happened a couple days ago. Or maybe it's a my computer thing. I don't know. But I was hoping that they would work because I'm my partner and he can be really loud. He's on the phone. So I didn't want him to like interrupt our class, but what can we do? This is where we are right now, right? All right. So I'm so happy all of you are here. Welcome to the Womb Rooms virtual space. I'm Jess, and I'm so happy y'all are here. As we get settled into class, a couple people are going to still be popping in, so I'm going to stay up here for a few moments to admit everybody. But go ahead and make sure that you have a couple pillows. So you might want throw pillows, you might want the pillows from your bed, whatever feels right for you, whatever's close by. Go ahead and grab those things. If you like to have a blanket, or if your space is a little chilly, you might want to have a blanket or a sweater, like I have a sweater. But the blanket can also be really nice if you don't have a pillow or in lieu of a pillow. So go ahead and grab your things. And as I'm still admitting people, I'm going to wait until about 5 minutes before I step away from the screen. As we're still admitting people, I'd love to hear how you all are feeling, how your bodies are, how your energy is, what you need from today's class. Why did you come tonight? And how can I make sure that you leave with whatever it is that you're seeking tonight? So go ahead and put yourself off of mute and share out loud with everybody if you'd like. It could be something you want to work on with your body. It could be you're having difficulty breathing while being pregnant, which is very common. Anything else, just go ahead and share what you need for tonight's class.
Go ahead. My hips are driving me crazy.
Yeah, your outer hips?
Yeah, I had a big baby first time around, and now second pregnancy, it's just all kind of inflamed. So just some hip stretching or something.
Yeah, we'll work on some stretching. We'll also work on some strengthening. All the connective tissue is really loose right now, and so that's sending the signal of pain to your brain. So creating a little more structural stability through strength can be really helpful. So we'll do strengthening and stretching because stretching also just feels delightful. Yeah. Thank
And
you.
this is my second class that I've come to. I came last week too, and I've been having some lower back pain, but last Thursday was like the first relief I had from it after the session. So it was really nice. So I'm sold. I'm back. Same thing.
Great. I'm so happy to hear that. We'll work on glutes and some core stability because we can still work on our cores while we're pregnant. It just looks really different. Yeah. And I'm not pregnant. I have a 10-month-old, but I remember very well being what I felt like was gigantic. My baby he wasn't huge, but he was a big boy. Anybody else have any needs, any requests, anything they want to share? This is an open space.
I'm wondering if there are any poses to help with nausea. I don't know if that's a thing, but that would be highly welcome if it exists.
Yeah. So we'll do a breath work at the end that I hope will work for you. I've heard other people feel that it helps them. Any point that you feel nauseous, just take a break. Anytime our head is below our belly, that can also lead to some indigestion or nausea. So just keep your head up if it's causing nausea. I'm sorry you're going through it. That's hard.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else? Awesome. Well, I'm so happy y'all are here. If you missed my little announcement at the beginning of class, go ahead and grab a couple pillows to keep next to you during this class. We're going to be moving around, but we're also going to need pillows to help support our bodies. Yeah, just have those nearby when we need them. And if you want a blanket, I love using blankets in class. You're welcome to also do that. All right, so we're going to get started laying on our left side. So go ahead and go to your space wherever you're practicing this evening. Lay down on your left side, and you can take your pillows. You can take one under your head and one between your knees. Sometimes people even like to take pillows underneath their belly if baby is big and they're feeling a lot of tug on their low back. Putting the pillow under the belly can feel really restorative. So go ahead and get yourself set up. I'm going to double check that the camera is at the right angle. You don't need to see my bed. There we go. All right, so laying on your left side. And you're going to take pillows underneath your head and between your knees or underneath your belly. And just get yourself really comfortable. I like to start each class with just reconnecting to this space. So take a couple of breaths. Maybe close your eyes if that feels comfortable. No need to force them closed if that doesn't feel right for you. And take a sigh. Let your shoulders shimmy out. Let your hips release just a little bit. Your jaw, your forehead. Begin to feel the floor beneath you. Feeling how it's supporting you. The weight of your body is heavy into the floor, into the earth, through the force of gravity. And just feeling this kind of rootedness, as if you're a plant and you're gently growing roots here. And begin to feel what it might be like to get a little heavier, to be a little steadier in your foundation, to be rooted. Because from being rooted is where we can grow, where we can expand, where we can find spaciousness. There's this quote from the Tao Te Ching that I love. And I don't remember the words exactly, but essentially it says that the kite flies in opposition of the wind. That everything we do has an opposite. So if we can root in, if we can ground, if we can connect, then from that foundation, we can expand and grow. So connecting to that within yourself, just for these next couple of moments, exploring that still rootedness of your body. And then begin to notice the places that feel like growth, like spaciousness, like expansion. The places that feel light or buoyant, lifted. It might be a place in your body. It might be something more subtle, like a thought or an emotion. For me, I feel it in my breath, in my right rib cage as it rises and falls. So take a few more moments to check in where the lightness, the levity, the growth is in your body, in your emotion, in your energy. And start to reach your right arm directly in front of your chest. Take a little stretch, maybe a little slide away. And then you'll start to sweep your right arm. I know you can't see my right arm. You'll sweep it forward and then overhead like a big half circle as your right arm comes behind you. And let your knees be nice and far away from your hips so you're not taking a really intense twist, but you've got this nice open angle at your hips. And then you'll let your right arm come overhead and then forward. So just taking these half circles here. It's okay if your right arm needs to bend as you navigate furniture in your home or walls in my case. And take this at whatever pace feels good. I'm going a little faster than my breath. You might go at the same pace as your breath. You might go a little slower, a little faster. And as we move through this class, you are welcome to move in any way that feels good for you. One thing I really love about being in a Zoom environment is that people have the autonomy to do whatever they want. So you can come into this space and use it rather than following exactly what I'm doing. You might use it instead as just a container to do whatever it is that you need to do. And I accept that fully. Good. And so we're going to start to add some movement with our right leg. So the next time your right arm comes behind you for the twist, start to reach your right leg in front of you. And then we're going to pendulum swing. So right arm comes in front and right leg starts to kick back. And you can kick it back nice and far. I just have a wall in my way. So you'll find this nice pendulum swing with the arm and the leg being opposite one another. And just let this feel really languid. Let it feel kind of easeful. Let it feel good, graceful. And if there's a particular place that feels really good, you might want to stay there. You might want to pause for an extra breath in stillness. One more. And then gently come right back onto your side. We're going to gently come onto our backs. If you're really uncomfortable being on your back for any length of time at all, go ahead and skip this part. We're not going to be here very long, just like 5 seconds. You're going to come onto your back and we're going to find a bridge pose. So you'll lift that pressure off of your spine. Press down through your feet, lift your hips. Let your knees be at least hips width distance apart. I like to be a little wider. And feel your glutes really turn on. You might even take your hands to your back, to your butt, and feel the engagement in your glutes so you're not kind of hanging out nice and loose with just your legs doing the work, but really engage your glutes to get that lift. Hug your baby up to your heart to help encourage your glutes to engage. The abdominals and the glutes work together. They create this nice stability through our trunks, through our pelvis. So we want them to work together to help alleviate any kind of tension or pain we're having in the ligaments and in the tendons and other tissues. So keep pressing down. Take 2 more breaths here. I know we've been here for a little while. Maybe you lift up a little higher. Maybe you need to come a little lower. Find what works for you. Last breath here. And super slow, lower down with control. And then you're going to roll over to your right side. I'm going to sit up and come to face you all in the other direction. So if you need to do that to face the screen too, you can go ahead and do that. Go ahead and settle into laying on your right side. Adjust your sweater if you have one, your pillows, and just pause. Feel the earth beneath you here. Feel the places that are rooted. And also feel the places that are light, spacious, buoyant. And start to reach your left arm directly in front of your chest and slide it away a little bit. Start to sweep your left arm overhead and make that big half circle here. And then come right back. So if you're really in the way of furniture, as you can see I am, go ahead and move yourself if possible. If you are able to find the space, go ahead. I'm going to stay here so that I can stay seeing you all. And you can see me. Just really letting this be graceful, languid. One of my favorite animals to consider their movements is a jellyfish. They're so graceful in how they move. They're quick but fluid. Even when they seem to be kind of jerky and unsure of where to go, they do it with such finesse. So if there's an animal that feels particularly graceful or fluid or easeful to you and you want to embody them, or maybe it's a person you know, Go ahead and imagine how that person or animal might move. And try to move like them and see how that feels in your body. If it doesn't feel good, go ahead and back to moving however you were moving before, but it's a nice exercise if you like it. And start to add your leg. So next time your left arm comes back, left leg goes forward. And then let your left arm and leg be in opposite places. Opposite parts of this clock, as if you were laying on a clock. Just a few more. Good. Gently come back to laying on your your right side. Pause for a moment. Feel your body. Notice if it feels any different or the same as the beginning of class. Just kind of taking note. Taking note of your experience from the inside out. And gently press yourself up, coming onto an easy seat. Go ahead and take your pillow or blanket underneath your seat, giving you just a little something to sit on. Giving you a little bit more space in your front body. If your knees are still up really high like this, give yourself another pillow or two under your seat. Excuse me. Bring your hands to your knees and start to circle around. As we move through class, you might notice I take a lot of circles in this class. Circles are really the embodiment of what it means to have a cyclical body, so a body that menstruates and births. Going the other direction. So really enjoying moving in circles, if you can. If you don't enjoy it, it's totally okay. But see if you can kind of lean into that, getting out of this very linear way of our lives, because we do live in a patriarchal society, right? Coming right back to the middle, we'll take a couple seated cat-cows. Breathe in, pull your chest forward, squeeze your shoulder blades a little together. And then as you exhale, press into your thighs, curl back, kind of like a Halloween cat. Breathing in, pull forward. Exhale, press back. Couple more like that. And then come right back to center. Give your shoulders a little bit of a roll and lose the sweater. Good, and go ahead and ground your left hand by your left side. Reach your right arm down and out. You don't have to touch the floor. Pushing down so that your left shoulder is down and you're not kind of leaning like this. Give yourself that stability. As you breathe in, your right arm reaches up, press your right ribs out to the right side. And then exhale, bring your right fingertips back down toward the floor. And just take a couple of these sunrise lifts. Just warming up our side bodies, really expanding the rib cage up and out. So as baby takes up space vertically in our bodies, we start to lose this capacity, keep going with the side bends. We start losing this capacity to breathe with our diaphragm coming down. So if we can expand sideways a little more, which we can, it helps us to breathe a little more fully in our bodies, get a little more oxygen. Next time you come up, go ahead and pause here. Take a little exhale. As you breathe in, turn your chest up, reach your right arm behind you, get a nice stretch through your chest, your armpit. And as you exhale, Bow down, belly towards your left thigh, right arm forward. Shake out your head. Taking a breath in. A big sigh. And breathing in, reaching both arms up, take a big lift up tall. Scoop your hands behind the back of your head, wide elbows, lift your heart. Let your head really rest in your hands, your shoulders away from your ears. This is one of my favorite stretches. As we have more weight up here, it can feel really good to stretch these muscles. This feels especially good postpartum. Gently coming back to center, we'll switch sides. Right hand presses into the floor, let your shoulder come away from your ear. Start to extend your left arm, and as you breathe in, take that big side bend, left rib cage out to the side, really feeling all this space that you can occupy on your left rib cage. Exhale, coming down. So if we can expand our ribs to the sides and to the back of our bodies a little bit more as we inhale, we can start to take in a little extra air. A lot of times we think of taking a full breath as a belly breath, expanding the belly. But really what we want is to expand in 360 degrees of our torso. So we'll work on that throughout this class. Take one more lift. Stay here as you exhale. Breathe in, turn your chest up, reach your left arm behind you. And then as you exhale, bow in, chest towards your right thigh, left arm to the floor. Shake out your head. Take a sigh. And then breathe in, come all the way up. Find that head and chest lift one more time, wide elbows. Big sigh, maybe you stick out your tongue. And come on back to center. We're going to shift onto hands and knees. If your knees are feeling sensitive, you might take a pillow or a blanket underneath your knees. If your wrists are feeling sensitive, which is also totally normal, you might put blocks underneath your hands. And I know not everybody has blocks at home. If you don't, you can put books under your hand or even come to a piece of furniture like a coffee table. And that'll just put more weight into your knees and less into your wrists, but you'll still get the same effort as what we're doing. You'll just take the pressure out of your joints. So wherever you are in tabletop, go ahead and start to take some circles. You might take the hovering circles. You might take cat and cow. Or you might take barrel rolls, rolling your ribs around. So find what feels good, taking about 5 breaths here. Big sigh. Coming right back to center. Start to press into your hands and feel your rib cage, your chest start to lift up, getting buoyant. So you're not curving, but you're just buoyant. Hug your baby up to your heart as you exhale and feel everything get really long and sturdy. Feel that sense of rootedness here, rooting your hands down, your knees down, and feeling everything really structurally sound. This should feel challenging. If it feels really easy, check in and see where you can put in a little more effort. We'll ease it up in a second, I promise. Keep pushing down. Feel your belly button hug up to your heart, your baby hug up to your heart. And maybe imagine you have a ball between your knees and squeeze in a little bit without moving anything. Just feeling that engagement there. Good, take one more breath here. Big exhale, stay here. And then breathe in, lower just your belly. Let baby drop. And then exhale, hug baby up. Breathe in, let baby down. Exhale, baby hugs up. Nice and slow, letting baby down. And hugging baby up. 2 more like that. One more. Exhale. Untuck your toes, sit back on your heels. You can take a pillow underneath your seat or maybe underneath your shins. And just pause for a moment, roll out your wrist, take a sip of water. Good. And go ahead and come up onto your knees. I like to tuck my toes, but you can leave yours untucked, whatever works for you. And again, put a pillow or blanket under your knees if they're sensitive. Bring your hands towards your hips, any way that feels good. Start to engage your glutes. If you want to even take your hands to your glutes and double check that they're engaged, you can do that. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and start to lift your heart. We're taking a little back bend here, but really what we're thinking about more than anything is the strength of our glutes and opening the chest. So rather than like coming back all the way and stretching belly even more, keep your belly sturdy, baby hugging up to heart, and think more about chest lift and glute strength. Keep pushing your knees down and feeling that reaffirming rootedness. Take one more breath here. A big exhale. Good, and come right back to tabletop. Once you're settled, start to extend your right leg back, lift your right leg parallel to the floor. Not so much higher, but really just parallel. Hug baby up to heart. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, slowly bring your right knee towards your right arm. Keep your spine straight and long. Breathing in, right leg back. Exhale, knee towards your arm. Taking this nice and slow. It's totally normal if you feel some popping in the front of your right hip. All that is muscle or tissues moving over your hip bone. Really thinking about your right glute here. Good. And the next time you reach your right foot back, go ahead and leave it. Tap your right toes to the floor. We'll find a side plank here. Left foot can come off the mat. Right arm reaches up. Option to stay here or to lift your right leg. So find what works for you. You might want to stay here today. You might want to lift up. But wherever you are, push down through your left hand and your left knee. Feel the strength of your glutes supporting your pelvis. Take one more breath here. And as you exhale, right knee, right hand come down. If you want to take a break on your knees, go ahead and roll out your wrists. If you want to take a couple of cat-cows or something else on hands and knees, that's also fine. 2 breaths here. Big exhale. One more breath in, a breath out. And we'll do the other side. Press down, feel baby hug up to heart as you extend your left leg back. Strong left glute here. Take a breath in. Exhale, left knee towards your left arm. Breathe in, extend. And the only thing moving here is your left leg. Your core is steady and stable. Your glutes are supporting you. Your shoulders are not moving. It's okay if you move a little, obviously. But our goal here is to really strengthen our deep abdominal muscles that support baby and to strengthen our glute muscles. Those are the ones moving our left leg and holding us up on our right leg. Next time your left leg reaches back, pause. Tap your toes down and slow open to your side plank. Left arm reaches up, pushing down to lift up a little higher, finding that rootedness in your right side to expand your left side. Again, you can always lift up your left leg. One more breath. Exhale. And slowly lower hands and knees. And find a child's pose. Let your knees come apart, hips toward your heels, and let your upper body come down. It can feel really good to take a pillow under your chest, have baby have a little pocket right there between your thighs, and settle in. Just spending about 5 breaths here. coming back to those feeling of rootedness. And this notion of using that rootedness, that foundation, to expand, to grow, to bloom. And with each breath in, feeling that expansion in the back of your ribs. Finding more space to breathe here. Taking one more breath. A sigh. And very gently, you'll start to slink into a downward facing dog, tucking your toes, letting your hips reach up and back. And take some gentle movements here, maybe bending one knee and then the other. If downward dog ever doesn't feel good for you, you can always take tabletop or puppy pose. Wherever you are, make sure your knees and your feet are far apart so that there's room for baby. Shake out your head, take a sigh. And let there be a little bend in your knees. Taking 2 more breaths here. And slowly walk your hands and feet towards each other. If you're having any indigestion, nausea, or heart pressure or blood pressure stuff, not heart pressure, come up about halfway so that you give yourself a little bit of space here. If you've been feeling dizzy or getting vertigo, this also feels good. And that goes for any time we fold forward. Find a way to lift up halfway, give yourself exactly what you need. Otherwise, hang on down, let your head relax, take a sigh. Two more breaths here. And slowly, gently, walking your hands up your legs, coming all the way up to standing. Bring your hands to your hips and take some big hip circles, soft knees. Go the other direction. I didn't lie about the circles today. I do take a lot of circles. Come on right back to center. Good. Plant your feet right under you so they're about hips width distance apart. Take that tiny bend in your knees. And as you bend into your knees, you might notice belly kind of drops forward. Totally fine. But we're going to work on creating engagement in the abdominals a little bit. If that doesn't feel good for you, then let your belly hang, okay? There's nothing wrong with belly being like this. We're just working on strengthening today. So go ahead and pull baby up to heart and feel your glutes engage in the process, right? Good. And so once you have that, push down into the floor and kind of straighten your legs a little. Keeping that engagement, come to the top of your mat. And I'm going to turn around so you can see me. But come to the top of your mat. You'll breathe in, reach up, getting nice and tall. Not a back bend, just tall. Exhale, you'll reach your fingers in front of you, clasping your hands, and your middle finger will come forward. And come right into like a little chair pose. Good. Keep your hands like this, but breathe in, straighten your legs, reach your arms up. Exhale, coming down. Nice and slow. Keeping baby hugging up to heart. One more, breathing in, breathing out. Squeeze your palms together, feel your chest start to activate. And you'll lift your left heel, just your left heel. You can pause here. If you want to lift your whole foot, you can play with that. Just know that that's a hard balance and it's okay if you can't do it today. Take one more breath here. And exhale, slide your left foot back so you're coming into a high lunge. Breathe in, lift your arms up, reach your chest up. And then as you exhale, reach your arms forward, release them. Bring your hands down by your side and reach your chest and head forward like you're this nice long arrow. You're grounding and rooting your feet into the floor, creating all of this support in your foundation. Take a moment to pause and feel this stillness here. One more breath in, a breath out. Slowly lift your chest, bring your hands to your hips, and start to bend your left knee just a little bit. Lift your left arm up and start to lean to the right side. Taking a little stretch here. So it looks like this. Take one more breath. Exhale. Slowly lifting up and find your warrior two. So dropping your left heel, and then your arms reach front to back. Good. If your shoulders are kind of up by your ears, just take your arms down like this, palms up. Take the pressure out of your shoulders. Take a pause, a sigh. And as you breathe in, start to straighten your right leg, reach your right arm up, take a nice side body stretch. Really feel your right ribs expand and get buoyant here. And then exhale, lean forward, hover your right elbow over your right thigh, bending your right knee. Try not to connect, just hover. Breathe in, straighten, and windmill up and back. Find this nice, slow, spinning spiral situation. Kind of reminds me of a windmill. Nice and slow. Using your side body muscles, your obliques, your glute medius, to create all this incredible stability in your pelvis, which will support you through pregnancy, during birth and labor, and postpartum. Good. And the next time you lean forward, find that hover and pause in the hover. And then when you're ready, connect your right elbow to your right thigh, but try not to slump. Let that buoyancy still be there. Beautiful. Take one more breath here. Big sigh. All the way up, we'll find goddess pose. Toes turn out to the sides. Bend your knees like you're going to sit on a horse. And cactus your arms. So again, if your elbows need to come down, that's totally fine. Take a pause here in stillness. Feel this broad openness through the center of your body. As you breathe in, get a little lower. As you exhale, imagine like a rocket shooting up, but not going fast. Press down and get really tall. Feel baby hug up, feel everything lifting up taller. And then inhale, come down, get wide. Exhale, lift. Breathe in, come down. Couple more. Last one, breathing in, breathing out. And then inhale, come down, connect your hands to your thighs, lean forward. As you exhale next, drop one shoulder, turn to the side. Breathe into middle, exhale, other side. And go a couple more times either side. Getting a nice shoulder girdle stretch and twist. A nice inner thigh stretch. And then when you're ready, finding a forward fold, letting your feet be a little bit pigeon-toed, and coming all the way down, taking that soft bend in your knees, shake out your head. While you're here, I want you to imagine that your sits bones, the little bony part at the base of your butt, you can feel it. They're called your ischial tuberosities. I want you to imagine that they're trying to spread apart and try to separate them. You might feel like your heels want to push apart from each other when you do that. That helps to stretch and widen your pelvic floor. And I like that stretch because it's not really as invasive or intense as a perineal massage. There's still some activity here. It's more of a natural physiological stretch. Take a couple more breaths here. Breathing in, feeling that width, that expansion, maybe all the way in your pelvic floor, in your belly, in your chest. And then as you exhale, feel everything come back to center, zippering up through the middle. One more breath. Exhale. And start to lift up halfway. Look over to your right foot and turn your right toes to the front of your mat. Walking your hands inside your right foot, lift your left heel. Should be in kind of a runner's lunge. If your hips are really low, get them to be buoyant and then get long from head to heel. Hug baby up to heart. And start to squeeze your right inner thigh to your right upper arm. Squeeze them together, create some tension there. Take one more breath. And slowly lower your left knee. You can untuck your toe if you want. And take a couple hip circles here. Just stirring your hips around. Going the other direction. Good. And then gently walk your hands to the top of your right leg. And allow your hips to sink a little bit. Not so far that they're kind of drooping, but enough that you still have some strength in your right thigh. From here, start to lift your arms up, getting really tall, and then scoop them behind the back of your head, wide elbows, chest lifts. This can be a bit of a balance posture, especially during pregnancy. So you can always widen your right foot to the side, give yourself a little more width to hold you up. But if you want it to be more challenging, you can close your eyes. One more breath here. And slowly release your hands inside your right foot and straighten your right leg. Let your hips come back. Feel a little stretch in the back of your right leg. One more breath in, breath out. Start to lean forward into your right leg. We'll find our side plank here. So listen carefully. Your right foot is going to slide back. And then you're going to open up, right arm up to the sky. Maybe you lift your right leg. Pushing down, rooting down to lift and get tall and wide, to bloom the right side of your body. One more breath here. And then slowly lower down. Take some circles. And then we'll meet in a downward facing dog. So take your time, slink your body into the down dog. Take a sigh, take some bends, some sways with your hips. And then gently walk your hands and feet toward each other. Hang in your forward fold for a moment. And slowly walk your hands up your legs, coming all the way up to standing. Take some hip circles, hands to hips. And go the other direction. Nice. And then walk your way to the top of your mat. Let your feet be hips width distance apart. Reach your arms overhead, clasp your hands, release your middle fingers. Let your knees be a little soft. Find the engagement of your belly and your glutes, baby hugging up to heart. And then start to push down and get a little taller. Take a breath in. Exhale, arms forward, sink into your hips. Two more like this. Breathe in, breathe out. Next time you come down, go ahead and stay. Lift your right heel this time. If you want to lift your whole right foot, you can. Find what balance works best for you. And then step your right foot back, finding your high lunge. Lift up, get really tall here. And then as you lean forward, release your hands, let them come down by your sides. Nice high lunge here, let your shoulders away from your ears. Getting really long, heel to head. One more breath. And then slowly lift all the way up. Bend your right knee a little. And then reach your right arm up and over, left hand to your left hip. Getting a nice side body stretch, but also with a little stretch in the front of your right hip. Last breath here. And then slowly open up, warrior two. Take a moment to pause. Maybe you bend your elbows. Maybe you adjust your shirt, your pants. And then when you're ready, straighten your left leg, left arm reaches up. Buoyancy in your left ribs. And then exhale, left elbow hovers over left thigh. Inhale and exhale. See if you can make these movements match the pattern and pace of your breath. So rather than your breath kind of chasing the movements, let your breath lead the movements. And see if you can feel how different those two things are, leading versus chasing. It can seem subtle at first, but once practiced, you can really see how big of a difference that is. One more breath in. And then when you exhale, pause in the hover. When you're ready to connect, connect. Keep that sense of buoyancy here. Press down through your feet, feel the rootedness. Take one more breath here. And then come all the way up. We'll find our goddess pose. You know how to get there. We'll do the same thing we did last time, but we're going to add something to it. So breathe in, get wider. Imagine your feet are sliding apart. And then exhale, get really tall. Imagine your feet are sliding together. Feel your inner thighs. Inhale, coming down. Imagine your feet are sliding apart. Exhale, lift. So if you're getting stuck on the breath pattern because it feels like it should be opposite, don't worry, you're not alone. So what we're doing is we're moving our body in the way our pelvic floor moves. When we inhale, our pelvic floor expands because it widens down. We're stretching here. And then when we exhale, our pelvic floor contracts and lifts. So we're feeling that engagement here. Breathing in, finding the space. Exhaling, pulling back to the middle like a zipper. About 3 more. I always get really warm when I do this. So if you're feeling warm, I am too. And then drop down, pause in your goddess pose. We're going to stay still for a moment. Maybe connect to baby and heart. Take a sigh. Feel your heartbeat, your breath. Let your belly be soft here. So all that time hugging baby up to heart, let baby relax down. Let baby relax forward. And gently, when you're ready, finding your forward fold, turning your toes a little pigeon-toed, soft bend in your knees as you fold in. Imagining your sits bones are guiding apart from one another, stretching your pelvic floor. One more breath. Big sigh. Lift up halfway, look to your left foot, turn your left toes forward, hands inside your left foot, and lift your right heel. Find that sense of buoyancy here, and then length. Squeeze your left inner thigh to your left upper arm. Create that tension, that magnetization. Take one more breath. And slowly lower your right knee. Take some hip circles. Nice stirs with your hips. Go the other way. And then coming back to the middle, hands guide to your left thigh. And let your hips drop just enough to feel a nice stretch, but not to the point of no strength and just gravity. Let there be a little bit of buoyancy. Breathe in, lifting up. Scooping your hands behind the back of your head, wide chest, wide armpits. Again, you can always move your left foot out to the side and tuck your right toes to feel a little more stable. And then slowly lowering your hips down, finding a hamstring stretch, straightening your left leg. Bow your chest inside your left leg. Soft jaw, relaxed eyes, forehead. A sigh. When you're ready, starting to bend into your left knee, and we'll open to the side plank, letting your left leg sweep around, left arm sweeping up, rooting down to get taller. One more breath here. And then slowly lowering your knee, your hand, finding child's pose for a few moments. Maybe you take a blanket or pillow underneath your chest. Two more breaths in child's pose. And then gently pressing yourself up, coming to sit on your bottom, ankles crossed. Maybe you have a sweater you want to put on, maybe you need a sip of water. We're going to end with some outer hip stretches and then some breath work. So go ahead and extend your left leg a little bit out to the left side. And bring your right foot just to the inside of your left knee. Let me see if I can scoot back a little bit. There you go. You can see a little more of my legs. You want your right shin to be kind of parallel to the front. Taking a breath in, getting nice and tall. And then exhaling, falling forward. You might let your elbows rest on your legs. You might bring them forward. Just really depends on what your body is capable of, what your body needs today. And press your right knee down toward the floor. And notice if that changes anything. And then slowly walk your hands back to your body. You'll bring your left leg directly in front of you and cross your right ankle over your left thigh. And so you can pause here, press your right knee down, and then start to fold forward. If this doesn't feel good for any reason, that's totally fine. Bend your left knee and try it seated, but still press your right knee away from your chest so you can still feel a little extra effort and stretch at the same time in your right outer hip. Soft shoulders, soften the jaw, even just 1%. And then gently lift the chest, and we'll switch sides. Right leg a little out to the right side, left foot to the inner part of the right leg. Push the left knee down as you fold forward. Slowly lifting up. We'll find the cross-legged version. So right foot right in front of you, left foot over your thigh. Press your left knee down and fold forward. Again, you can always do the one with your right knee bent and leaning back. That might feel better. Find a comfortable seat. I like to cross my ankles and sit on a pillow or blanket. If you prefer to sit on the sofa, if you have something else, another place you want to sit, go ahead and do that. All right, you all still hear me okay? Yeah, okay. All right, so getting comfortable, we're going to practice what's called Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. And so to do this, there's a couple ways. You can either take your first finger and kind of plug the nostrils as we breathe. Maybe you take your left finger or left thumb and pinky finger. Or if you want to do like I do, you take your first two fingers to the center of your head and then alternate thumb and pinky. So find what feels better for your hand. If you're a little congested, if you have allergies or any sinus stuff going on, you can always just keep your hands in your lap and imagine the air moving through your nostrils in the way I describe. So play around with what feels good. You can always change it at any time. So find your hand gesture. Take a couple normal breaths. Exhale completely and plug your left nostril. Breathe in through your right nostril. Plug your right, open left, exhale left. Inhale left. Switch, exhale right. Inhale right. Switch, exhale left. Inhale left. Out right. In right. Out left. In left. Out right. In. Switch, out left. In left. Switch, exhale right. In right. Switch, exhale left. Inhale left. Switch, exhale right. Release your hands and take a couple normal breaths here. As you're ready, get yourself in a comfortable laying position. Maybe it's laying on your side. Maybe it's laying on your couch, your bed. Maybe you like to stay seated. Find what feels really cozy for you. And make it as comfortable as you can, as comfortable as possible right now. And as you settle in, go ahead and take any fidgets or movements you need to take to feel 5 or 10% more comfortable. Noticing the places in your body that are connected to the floor. Exploring what rootedness feels like in your body. Does it feel heavy, broad, expansive, narrow, tingly, light? Does it have a color or an element associated with it? Exploring what rooted feels like in your body. And now starting to explore the places in your body that feel buoyant, that feel like they're growing, expanding, blooming. The places that feel spacious, home for levity. And starting to almost exaggerate that lightness, that levity, that expansion by bringing in more breath, by expanding more on your inhale. And noticing the places where that lives. The places that feel light, expansive, blooming. And as you're ready, wiggling fingers and toes, turning your head side to side. Shoulders, feet, legs. Shifting yourself up to a comfortable seat as you're ready. And bringing your left hand to your heart and your right hand to your womb, and bow your head to both of them. We'll end with some words from Rupi Kaur. The orange trees refused to blossom unless we bloomed first. When we met, they wept tangerines. Can't you tell the earth has waited its whole life for this? Bringing a breath into the center of you and giving it back. Reaching your arms all the way up. Bringing your palms to touch overhead and then drawing your thumbs to forehead center. Namaste. Thank you all so much for coming tonight. It was so beautiful to move with you, to breathe with you, and to be with you. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want to say anything. You're welcome to come off mic or off mute on mic. And other than that, I'd love to see you next week. You can always find me on Instagram, Jess Gruber Yoga. I love to chat with y'all. I breastfeed endlessly, so I do a lot of Instagram messaging. Steph will tell you.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was really nice.
Have a great night.
You too.
Bye.